If you're thinking about starting a business in 2026, your first instinct is probably to build something around what you already know. You're great at consulting, so you start a consulting firm. You love coffee, so you open a cafe. But here's the trap. Being great at consulting doesn't build a consulting business. It buys you a job where you are also the HR manager, the IT guy, and the janitor. I'm Alan Regala, and this is the Franchise Champion Show. Here's what nobody tells you about starting from scratch. You're not going to spend your first 6 months selling or serving customers. You're going to spend it building infrastructure. I know this because I lived it. Before I bought my franchise, I had a product company. I invented this credit card-sized notepad called PicoPad. Little tiny sticky notes and a little mini pen, and the whole thing fit in your wallet. It was a good product. It sold well for what it was, but it wasn't running a product business. I was drowning in logistics. I spent months negotiating with manufacturers in China, setting up shipping and customs, building an e-commerce site, learning Amazon's seller platform, figuring out trade shows and distribution. The product worked, but I realized I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was an operations manager who happened to have a product. Here's the reality for most people starting from scratch. Month 1, branding, logo, legal setup. Month 2, website, bank accounts, insurance. Month 3, marketing strategy. Who's your customer? How do you reach them? Month 4, first lead comes in. You don't have a sales process yet. Back to building. Month 5, you're burning savings. Still no consistent revenue. Month 6, if you're lucky, you're starting to gain traction. That's 6 months of not doing the thing you're actually good at. 6 months of infrastructure debt. That's what kills most startups. Not bad ideas, not lack of skill, infrastructure overload. This is where franchising completely changes the equation. When you buy a franchise, you're not just paying for a name, you're paying to skip the infrastructure phase. Think of it like this. Starting from scratch is building a race car from parts in your garage. Buying a franchise? You're buying a car that already runs. Here's what's actually built for you. 1, proven marketing systems. The messaging, the channels, the creative, it's already been tested across dozens or hundreds of locations. 2, operational playbooks. Hiring scripts, training manuals, pricing structures. You're not inventing processes, you're executing ones that already work. 3, technology and software. Scheduling, CRM, payment processing, reporting, stuff that would take you months to evaluate and set up on your own. 4, a support network. You're joining a community of other owners. When you hit a problem, you're not Googling it, you're calling someone who solved it last month. When I started with Shelf Genie, we had a national call center booking appointments, marketing templates ready to go, and a CRM tracking everything. I didn't spend a day figuring out how to generate leads. I focused on closing them. That's the shift. Instead of spending 6 months building infrastructure, you spend 6 months generating revenue. Here's the difference between struggling entrepreneurs and successful ones. Struggling entrepreneurs get stuck doing all the work. They're the salesperson, the marketer, the accountant, the IT person. 70-hour weeks just to stay afloat. Successful ones operate like executives. They focus on high-leverage activities, leadership, strategy, growth. Franchising lets you start as an executive. Scenario 1, starting from scratch. Year 1, you do everything yourself. Long hours, low margins. Year 2, you hire someone, but you're still doing most of the work. Year 3, maybe you're profitable, maybe you're burnt out. Now on the franchise path, month 1, complete training, set up your territory. Month 3, hire your first team member using proven systems. Month 6, you're leading a small team while focusing on sales. Year 2, you hire a manager, expand territories, and you're working on the business, not in it. Does it mean you won't work hard? No. But you're working on things that actually scale your business, not getting buried in operational chaos. Let's talk real numbers. I started Shelf Genie with 3 territories, about $150,000 invested. By year 2, $790,000 in revenue, $150,000 owner compensation. By year 5, 5 territories, $1.7 million in revenue, and $400,000 owner compensation. Year 14, 12 territories, generating over $4 million in sales, and I sold the business for a multi-million-dollar exit. Could I have done that independently? Maybe, but it would have taken twice as long at least, twice the capital, and 100 expensive mistakes. The franchise model compresses the timeline. You're not paying for a logo. You're paying to buy time, the most valuable asset you have. And yes, you pay royalties, typically 6 to 10% of gross revenue, but here's what you get for that. Marketing support, software and systems, training, coaching field support when problems come up, a network of owners sharing what works. When I was paying royalties to Shelf Genie, I had a national call center instead of a full-time service rep, support I could call anytime, and top performers sharing their playbooks. That was worth every penny. Look, franchising isn't for everyone. If you need to invent everything from scratch, it'll frustrate you. If you can't follow systems or take feedback, you're going to struggle. If you think it's passive income, you'll be disappointed. But if you value speed over trial and error, want proven systems to execute, are willing to be coachable, and want to be in business for yourself but not by yourself, then franchising might be the smartest move you make in 2026. If you have the capital and you're ready to skip the infrastructure build so that you can start executing in 2026, let's find the right system for you. I'll walk you through how this works, what might fit your goals, and whether this even makes sense for you. No pressure, just clarity, and it's free. There's a link in the description to book a strategy call with me directly. But if you're still skeptical and wondering if this franchise route can actually replace your corporate income, you need to see exactly how I did it. I walked away from my engineering career and built a $4 million franchise business using these exact principles. Click here to watch that full story.